Keep a little cozy corner in your heart for me.
What you thought we was one and done? Like I'm Carmelo Anthony, Jerry Wall or something.
Hi, Tyler Brown there, Stone's Throw Church. Excited for week 2 of the Westminster Shorter Catechism Greatest Hits. What we'll be looking at this week is the question, what is the Trinity? So a pretty deep topic for us to be studying here with the kids. And what we want to do is we're going to start with our old term, our review term for this week. And some verse we memorized a while ago, it's Jeremiah 29:13. And our dear friend who's now in Africa, Christina Sala, makes some hand motions for the kids to remember that verse. And the verse goes that you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. In the context of Jeremiah, this is when the people of Israel are about to go into exile, and God is promising that he's going to bring a remnant back, and when they seek him with all their heart, they will in fact find him. So where we're going to start this discussion of the Trinity is really in all the fact that we can know who God is, the fact that God has revealed himself to us by his grace, through the work of Christ and the enlightenment of the Holy Spirit, that we can know who God is. We can study his attributes, we can study his nature, and as we're doing here with our study of the Godhead. So we want to acknowledge that this is an act of grace, that we can know something about the living and true God. And then, after we look at that, we're going to look at a couple texts that give us some clues as to what the Trinity is and where we get this idea from. And we're going to start in Genesis chapter 1, when, as most of you know, God refers to himself as us, or our. So let us make man in our likeness and our image. And so we see there that God is plural. He's referring to himself using a plural pronoun. And then we're going to go over to Deuteronomy chapter 6, where the same author says that the Lord your God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4, something called the Shema. And so there we have a little bit of confusion, because it seems that there's, at the same time, God is more than one, yet God is also declaring himself to be one. And so the answer that we're going to arrive at is in Genesis chapter 2, God looks at man and woman, and clearly two individuals, and says the two will become one. So that's going to be our analogy for the kids today. We're going to bring up an unsuspecting married couple, so hope it's you. We'll bring them into the kids' church, and we'll let the kids talk a little bit about how, in some senses, they're two, but in a lot of ways, they're also one. They function as one unit, they sleep in one room, they are a united front. Yet there's also two different individuals that have different roles and some differences between them. So we're going to say the Godhead's a little bit like that. It's like a husband and a wife who are functioning in a biblical marriage. And so what we'll do then is we'll look over and see some of how they complement each other. We're going to look specifically today at 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 2, where Peter, writing to the churches all over Asia Minor, he says to them, you are there according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, in the sanctification of the Spirit, for obedience to Jesus Christ. And so kind of how those three roles really work together, and how God the Father is part of the planner, while Jesus Christ is that one whom we are obeying, our ruling King, and the Spirit is sanctifying us and building us up. We won't have time to go into tons of things with the Trinity, but I encourage you guys, at your home, as you study this concept, to really look into some of that. I would send you to Ephesians chapter 1, verses 4, around to verse 12, where you can see the Father planning salvation, the Son achieving salvation, and the Spirit applying salvation and sealing us with the Holy Spirit. Also, you can look at Matthew 28:19 with the ascension of Jesus and the Great Commission, when he tells us to baptize in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So just some things to think about. I hope this is helpful. Get me next week, and see you soon.
Son of God up on a cross, that's appalling. You don't think so, then you don't know what it cost him to purchase lost men from every and all sin. Wait a second, I meant sin, not